For this video, we'll be discussing about filtering in data analytics. Introduction. Filtering allows you to extract data that meets the defined criteria from a given range or table. This is a quick way to display only the information that is needed by you. You can filter data in a range, table, or pivot table. You can filter data by selected values, text filters if the column you selected contains text, date filters if the column you selected contains dates, number filters if the column selected contains numbers, number filters if the column you selected contains numbers, that's repeated, font color if the column you selected contains font with colors, cell icon if the column you selected contains cell icons, and advanced filters, and we can also use slicers. In a table, the column headers are automatically tagged to filters, known as autofilters. Autofilter is represented by the arrow next to column header. Each autofilter has filter options based on the type of data you have in that column. For example, if that column contains numbers, when you click on the arrow next to the column header, number filter options appear. When you click filter option, or when you click on custom filter that appears at the end of the filter options, custom autofilter dialog box appears, wherein you can customize your filtering options. In case of a range, you can provide the column headers in the first row of the range and click on filter in the editing group on home tab. This will make the autofilter on for the range. You can remove the filters that you have in your data. You can also reapply the filters when data change occurs. Filter by selected values. You can choose what data is to be displayed by clicking the arrow next to the column header and selecting the values in the column. Only those rows containing the selected values in the chosen column will be displayed. Consider the following data. So these are the arrows or the buttons, icons. So if you want to display the data only for position equals high, click on the arrow next to position. So this is position. So click on this arrow and then a drop down box appears. So this is a drop down box with all the values in the position column. So these are all the values in the position column. By default, all the values will be selected. So you notice all of them are selected. Click select all and all the boxes are cleared. So click on this, then select high as shown in the following screenshot. So click here and then click on high. So click OK, and then only those rows which have the value high as position will be displayed. So that's one way of slicing your data or filtering your data. Filter by text. Consider the following data. You can filter this data such that only those rows wherein the title is manager will be displayed. So click the arrow next to the column header. So that's the arrow. And then from the drop down list, click text filter. So this is text filter. The text filter option appears. Then select contains from the available option, and then the custom filter dialog box appears. So select contains. So here, select contains here, and then the dialog box appears. So this is the dialog box. Then type manager in the box next to contains. Then click OK. Then only the rows where title contains manager will be displayed. So as you can see, we have here engineering manager, marketing manager, production control manager, human resources manager, and so on. filter by date. You can filter this data further such that only those rows wherein the title is manager and hire date is prior to 2011 can be displayed. That means that you will display the employee information for all managers who have been with the organization from before 2011. Click the arrow next to the column header hire date. So this is hire date. This is hire date. So click the arrow. So we have here now the drop down list. Click date filters. So here's the drop down list. Click date filters and then click on before. So date filters and then before. So custom auto filter dialog box open. So this is the dialog box open. Then type January 1, 2011 in the box. So next to is before. So you can also select the date from the date picker next to the box. So we have here the date picker if you want to use a date picker. Click OK. Then only the rows where the title contains manager and hire date is prior to January 1, 2011 will be displayed. So all of these are before 2011 and the title contains manager. So you notice here that the icon, you have the funnel here, so that means it is this column is filtered. Consider the following data, so filter by numbers also. So we have student code, total marks, and we have the position. You can filter this data such that only those rows where total marks is greater than 850 can be displayed. Click the arrow next to the column header, total marks, so this is the arrow. Then from the drop down list, so this is the drop down list, click on number filters. So the number filter now will appear here. And then click greater than. So once you click greater than, this will now appear. So the custom auto filter dialog box opens. Type 850 in the box next to the greater than. Click OK, and then only the rows wherein the total marks are greater than 850. So as you notice, these are all greater than 850. So will be displayed. Filter by cell color. If the data has different cell colors or is conditionally formatted, you can filter by the colors that are displayed in your table. Consider the following data. So the column total marks has conditional formatting with different cell colors. So click on the arrow in the header total marks, so the arrow here. Then from the drop down list, click filter by color. And then the filter color option appears. So this is the filter by color option. And then this is now the filter by cell color options here. So select the green color and click OK. Only the rows wherein the total marks column has green color cells will be displayed. So if you notice, only those with green colors are displayed here. Now we can also filter by font color. If the data has different font colors or is conditionally formatted, you can filter by the colors that are displayed in your table. Consider the following data. The column total marks has conditional formatting with font color applied. So we have here different font colors. So we have red, green, and what's this? Maybe brown. So click the arrow in the header total marks. From the drop down list, so this is the drop down list, click filter by color. And then we have filter by font color. So this is now filter by font color. So here just choose the color you want. So select the green color and click OK. Only the rows wherein the total marks column has the green color font will be displayed. Filter by cell icon. If the data has different icons or a conditional format, you can filter by the icons that are shown in your table. Consider the following data. The column total marks has conditional formatting with icons applied. So we have here icons. So click the arrow in the header and the total marks. So from the drop down list, we have the drop down list. Click filter by color. And then the filter by cell icon appears here. So select the green arrow and click OK. So only the arrows where in the total marks column has the green icon will be displayed. Removing filters, or how to clear filter. Removing filters is termed as clear filter in Excel. You can remove a filter from specific column or all the filters in the worksheet at once. To remove a filter from a specific column, click the arrow in the table header of the column. So from the drop-down menu, click Clear Filter from the specific column name. So let's say, for example, if you want to clear the filter in total marks, we click here, click this arrow, and then we have to clear filter from total marks. So just click this one. Then the filter in the column is removed. And to remove filtering from the entire worksheet, just select this icon, the clear icon. Editing group on the home tab or sort filter group in the data tab. So you can find this in the editing group or the sort filter group in the data tab. All the filters in the worksheet are removed at once. Click undo show all if you have removed the filters by mistake. When changes occur in your data, click reapply in sort and filter group on the data tab. The defined filter will be applied again on the modified data. Advanced filtering. You can use advanced filtering if you want to filter the data of more than one column. You need to define your filtering criteria as a range. Suppose you want to display the information of those employees who are specialists or those employee ID is 2 and define the criteria as follows. So we have manager ID 2 or the title is specialist. So this will be our criteria range. The next, click advance in the sort and filter group on the data tab. The advanced filter dialog box appears. So this is the advanced filter dialog box. Specify the list range. So the list range, this is the list range. So that's from B6 to H296. So this is the list range. And then specify the criteria range. That's from B2 to C4. You can either filter the list in place or copy to another location. So it can be filtered in list, in place, or copy to another location. In the filtering given below, filter the data in place is chosen. So this one. The employee information where manager ID equals 2 or title equals specialist is displayed. So we have here specialist. It contains specialists or their manager is number 2. So these are specialists or their manager is number 2. Suppose you want to display information about specialists and vice presidents. You can define the criteria and filter as follows. So here only the manager with that are vice president, whose manager is 2 and contains vice president, starts with vice president, or those that contains specialists. So we have the same list range, but we just have a new criteria. So the criteria I applied is title is equal to specialist, so this one, or title equals vice president. and employee information of specialist and vice president will be displayed. You can copy the filtered data to another location. You can also select only few columns to include in the copy operation. Copy employee ID, title, and salary flag to the cells Q2R2S2. So here. So these are the fields. This will be the first row of your filtered data. Click on Advanced, and in the Advanced Filter dialog box, click on Copy to another location. So copy to another location. In the Copy to box, specify reference to the headers you copied in another location. That's Q2 to S2. So that's copy 2. So we place a Q2 to S2. So click OK. After specifying the list range and criteria range, the selected columns in the filtered data will be copied to the location you specified. So it is now copied here at columns Q, R, and S. Filter using slicers. Slicers to filter data in pivot tables were introduced in Excel 2010. In Excel 2013, you can use slicers to filter data in tables also. Consider the following data in the following table. So again, we have employee ID, manager ID, title, birth date, marital status, gender, and hire date. Click the table, then click the table tools. So we have here table tools. The design ribbon appears, and then insert slicer. Click on insert slicer. Insert slicer dialog box appears as shown in the screen. So this is the insert slicer dialog box. In the insert slicer dialog box, you will find all the column headers, including those columns that are hidden. So this includes hidden columns. Check the boxes title and hire date, and then click OK. A slicer appears for each of the table headers. You check in the Insert Slicers dialog box. In each slicer, so we have title and hire date, all the values of that column will be highlighted. So they are highlighted. In the title slicer, click the first value. So here, only that value will be highlighted, and the rest of the values get unselected. Further, you will find the values in hire date slicer that are corresponding to the value in the title slicer also get highlighted. So in the table, only the selected values are displayed. So notice here, this is highlighted and only the two are highlighted. You can select or deselect the values in the slicers, and you find that the data is automatically updated in the table. To choose more than one value, hold down the Control key and pick the values that you want to display. Select the title values that belong to the Accounts department and the hire date values in the year 2015 from the two slicers. So here, this will be changed. So these are the hire date. So you can clear the selections in any slicer by clicking the clear filter at the right hand corner of the slicer header. So this is the clear filter. So that ends my lecture for filtering, and thank you very much for viewing this video.